Youthquake was the Oxford English Dictionary Word of the Year for 2017. This was based on the commonly held assumption that Labour's unexpectedly good election result was based on Jeremy Corbyn's rallying of a once apathetic youth. Polling backed up the thought at the time, with one polling organisation suggesting that turnout among 18 to 24-year-olds went up by a whole 21 percentage points. But new research from the British Election Study shows that this was in fact a myth, stating that there was no surge in youth turnout at the 2017 election.
I don't think it's particularly surprising to find out that the whole youthquake was a bit of a myth, really. I think it is disappointing though, because, I mean, one thing we all took away from the general election was that at least young people were engaged, they were voting, they were campaigning, they were finally taking their steps into politics and making sure that they're represented.
I think the apathy amongst young people in terms of political engagement and voters is going to take a long time to overcome.
The data reveals that turnout for those aged under 22 in the general election was actually on par with the 2015 poll. To see where turnout increased the most, we'd have to look at those aged between 25 and 45. Among those aged around 32, for example, turnout was up nearly 12 percentage points. This means that the youngest voters were still much less likely to vote in general, with less than half of them turning out, while older voters were still much more likely to head to the ballot box. The usual pattern still existed when it came to which party each age group backed, with age being the key dividing line in the election. The result? Young people were even more likely to vote Labour in 2017, while older people backed the Tories in even greater numbers. Among the very oldest age groups, there was a big shift to the Conservatives, as UKIP dropped millions of votes in the wake of the Brexit referendum. Labour was up among every age band below 75 years old, which was the key for them to snatch Tory seats. Those who think the seemingly non-existent youthquake is good news for the Conservatives should think again. The fact remains that Labour did make inroads in the election. Their turnout was boosted among those aged between 25 and 45, the very demographic that the Conservatives should hope to switch. These aren't your typical old Jeremy Corbyn singing millennials. They're often eyeing up that new career move or thinking about buying a house, and so the fact that they came out in greater numbers to back Corbyn's Labour is bad news for the Conservatives. So it would seem that the youthquake wasn't a seism after all, rather a mere ripple in the pond. It wasn't even a small tremor. But it's the vote of a 25 to 45 demographic which might serve as a warning shot across the bow of the Tory party.